you ready for this.
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Who needs a brew? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
All right, here we are. Welcome to the 65th episode of the Nexus Trolls, a podcast all about Heroes of the Storm, part of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. I'm your host tonight, LiQuiuD, and Daz took the week off to travel to Disney World, so it's just me and Mystic holding down the fort. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. Glad to see you around these parts again.
Right? I was sick. I was traveling. Like, it's been a mess lately. Yeah, it's been a mess. But I'm here now. Bags is not taking my place on the Nexus Trolls. So here we are. And before we jump into like the cool stuff that we have to talk about, I am gonna go ahead and thank our patrons over at patreon.com/trollsgg. We did pick up a new patron this week. Thank you, San, for sponsoring the show. And thank you, Daz, for being the troll of the week, even though you're not here tonight, man. Apparently, I was the troll of the week last night, so I thought I'd return last week. I'm returning the favor. Also, because I happen to be looking at chat, thank you, Malaram, for your sub on Twitch. We appreciate that too. All right, man.
Someday, this will make a great story.
Assuming Chen's talking. Someday,
this will make a great story.
I just played the news bumper twice, but here we go. Oh, it's one of those days, man. All right, so Maiev, am I saying that right? I might not be saying that right.
Well, according to the old Warcraft 3 sound bites, it's Maiev.
Maiev. All right. So Maiev Shadowsong, I probably should know that, but again, hot mess this week. Is joining us in the Nexus and is on PTR right now. We're definitely going to dive into the PTR patch in a few minutes. But what do you think? Like, I didn't get a chance to watch the show last week. So were you on the It's Maiev, or did you think it was somebody else? Or where were you at with the teaser and then leading into Maiev?
So last week, I think everybody was on the train that it was basically Maiev or Mal'Ganis, but mostly Maiev. I was saying that it could be something different, you know, Blizzard could throw us for a loop, but no, it's pretty straightforward this time, and yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody got that right. It was Maiev.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's who I thought it was as well, but have to ask, right? Have to ask.
Yeah.
Also a little thing that lit the Twitter world up a month ago, and then also again today. Voice chat is in the PTR patch. When we tested it at BlizzCon, I enjoyed it. It was good. I liked it. I haven't played on PTR yet today. I don't know if you played it all with anybody on PTR to test that out, or not with any human beings yet.
I have not tested out the voice chat at all, but I'm assuming it's very similar to when we tested it out at BlizzCon. I don't see them making too big of significant changes to it.
Right. Okay. Well, we should know more next week when it launches. And anybody that gets a chance, head over to the PTR, test it out, see what you think about it. Try out Maiev, see what you think about her as well. And yeah, we'll dive deeper into her in a minute. But first, we're going to go over a little bit of esports news that may or may not have happened this past week.
Hey, yo, how you doing? It's time for LiQuiuD's Esports Corner. That's right. And you're going to want to stick around for this.
All right. So, the second week has come and gone of HGC. So we do have a little bit more results, some interesting things going on. I'm going to go ahead and just cover kind of three number one items that picked up out of Korea, EU, and NA. And then later on tonight at 9:30, Bags and I will really dive deep into HGC with Hero Physio, the coach for LFM, which will be fun. That'll be a good interview. Anyway, over to Korea, where we have Ballistic and Tempest tied for first. Both teams are 9-0. I did not see Tempest being that team that was tied with Ballistics. And the scary thing is KSV Black not up there, tied for first right now. Kind of crazy. Weird things going on in Korea. I don't know if you've caught any of the games, but they've been actually pretty good. I mean, their Korean games are usually pretty good, I should say, but have you seen any of them, or are you sticking to EUNA when you're awake at normal time?
Awake at normal times. So I've caught a few of the Korean games, and like everybody, I was really surprised that, you know, KSV was not doing so hot.
Right.
And as far as I could tell, like there's a lot of Genji, Hanzo over there too, and I don't see very much Blaze.
No, there's not a whole lot of Blaze in Korea. There is a little bit. There's a little bit in China, a little bit in EU, a little bit in NA. Not a ton though. Definitely Genji Hanzo is like, it's banned or picked every time. It's definitely a thing, right? That's crazy. And that's been, every region is that way. Genji Hanzo is a thing that people either stay away from or people pick, or like they're heavily involved in every game so far, which I thought was pretty interesting. Over in EU, Diamond Skin surprised everybody with a win over Team LiQuiud 3-2. They are definitely on the lower end of the chart, and picking up that win over LiQuiud was pretty surprising. And then in NA, I know Bags will appreciate this, but is Team Freedom really the best team in NA? Right now they appear to be, and that good for them. You know, Team Freedom's a good team. I don't have the love for them that Bags has, but surprisingly, they do appear to be the #1 team in NA right now. 9-4, 3-0 in the win-loss. I mean, they're doing pretty good. They have not had the hardest schedule so far, and they're playing LFM on Friday. But we know LFM can surprise you. So
with these, you know, I'm sure you watched more of these games than I have. With all these teams like playing these games on the new patch, do you think NA is getting up there to face off with, or I guess, you know, NA is getting up there to face off with Korea and EU, or are we still like?
No, man, we're still behind. I wish I didn't have to say that. Honestly, I really do. I wish I didn't have to say that, but NA is still behind. One day we may not be. That day is not yet. That day is not today, my friend. You can see an improvement, right? I guess I should say that. You can definitely see an improvement. It's just, it's not quite there yet.
Gotcha.
So, all right. Well, that's also, you know what? I'm going to throw one other thing out there. Open Division was last night. Open Division Cup 1 ended yesterday for EU and last night for NA. Definitely check those out. There were some really solid teams out there this week, and it's actually every week. So for the next 5 weeks, every Monday night, every Tuesday night, check out the Blizz Heroes channel. Open Division's running in NA at night for us people in NA, and it's running during the day for us in NA, but at night for EU viewers. So definitely check both of those out. It's worth it. There's a lot of solid teams. I think J-How tweeted out this morning that, or maybe it was last night, that lots of good ex-pros and lots of upcoming talent in the NA Open Division right now. So both Prismat's on it, got a team now. That's SMV. They lost, and then XD ended up winning last night. But that's another team full of ex-pros. So definitely check it out. All right, man. Let's talk about Maiev. And dig through the PTR patch. I guess let's talk about the PTR patch, and eventually we will get to Maiev. So yeah, you wanna take these couple?
Sure. Okay, so for the PTR patch, we have Lunar Festival 2018 coming out for this set of patches. You can play versus AI, quick match, unranked, or ranked games to earn these rewards. You play 2 games and you get a cute lunar skyrocket spray. You play 5 games, you get a lunar Warcrest banner. You play 8 games, you get the lunar guardian portrait. And then here's the biggest challenge: you have to win 5 games, but you'll get a lunar skyrocket mount. So
Yes.
that's on the table there, but you gotta win 5 games. So that's pretty exciting here.
Yeah, I was excited about that. Free mount, man. Free mount.
Free mount. Yeah, you gotta win those 5 games. You gotta put your time in there. I don't know, like winning when Blizzard puts up a challenge that's win some games, everybody gets really competitive. So yeah, be careful for a little bit of toxicity out there.
I think you can win those in AI though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So,
But
I mean, you just raffle stomp your way through 5 AI games real quick, and
I don't play AI games. They make me form bad habits,
No, you know what AI is great for, and I've started using it this way. I've found that the AI is much more forgiving, where I'm learning to, or where I'm working on stutter stepping with different heroes. Like it is, right? Because like they punish you way less.
And I guess I'm giving AI a bad rap. I mean, well, sometimes, you play against them and you do form a few bad habits. When they replace some of the players on your team when they've disconnected in games, I've seen
Right.
that they actually use the hero better than the players that disconnected. It's kind of funny to see that sometimes.
I too have experienced that. So yeah, I'm just saying AI does have its uses sometimes.
All right, so next up we have voice chat. Now, voice chat is being implemented into the PTR, but it's not going to be on live servers for a time. They're testing the waters here. So when you go onto the PTR, if you get in a party, it'll automatically put you in voice chat. So there's nothing that you need to do there really. When you get into a game, it's opt-in. So you don't have to chat with the team that's not in your party in game. You can go in, however, and yeah, so all that is in like the tab menu. You can change some of the settings from the options. And then if you don't like, hearing someone troll or flame or something, you can bring up the tab menu, you can mute the players, and you don't have to hear them anymore. So that's always really good. It's always a really good option to have.
Agreed.
Next up, we have the targeting info panel, which is a really good addition to the game, in my opinion. So when you can now select on a friendly or enemy target with a left click, and a panel will show up in the top left of your screen. So now this panel here, you can move it around anywhere on your screen. You can also double click on it to bring it back to its default position. You can throw it like literally anywhere on the screen. So all that is on you. It displays health and health regen, mana and mana regen, basic attack damage, attacks per second, attack range, spell power modifiers, movement speed, and physical and spell armor. So now you can click on the enemies and just track like their stats and just be like, okay, so he has a lot more stats than me, and you probably don't want to fight him at this moment in time. Like now you can see all that stuff.
So I want to talk about this one because while I think voice chat is important to the game, I think that one's been talked maybe a little to death. This surprised me. I was not expecting this at all. Like out of the blue, they're like, "Oh, and we gave you an info panel. Here it is." And I'm like, "Wait, what? What? Huh?" And I went and looked at it. It's really cool looking, but realistically, are you going to use that mid game? Are you gonna put the info panel? Like, let me ask you, because mechanically, you're way better than I am. Do you think that you will get something out of having that window, maybe sitting off to the right above the minimap or something, so that you, as you like cycle through targets, you can quick look at something? Maybe you're looking for some specific statistic or some specific how much health they have or whatever the case may be.
it's mostly like if I were to use it, I use it in League quite a bit too because so if you know like the mana costs
Right.
of some of the heroes, right? Like let's just say you play a hero a lot and you know some of the mana costs, you're like, okay, you click on the enemy hero. And then instead of a mana bar that you're looking at like their resource bar on their hero like thing,
Yep.
you can actually click on them and then you look at it and it'll be like, huh. So they have like 120 mana. That means they have enough for like one of this spell and like one of this spell or two of this spell and one of this spell. So then you know exactly like what his resources are, so you know what he can do. On the other side of that with health, right?
Yep.
You can so you have your level, and then when you scroll down, this is really good because you scroll down, you look at your spells, you mouse over them, it'll say this spell does so and so damage, right? And then so assuming that they have no armor, and you're like, okay, so this spell does 300 damage, so this spell does 200 damage, okay? And you look at their life, and it's like, okay, they have 483 life. So now you know for sure, as long as you hit these spells, he will die. Instead of, I think he will die if I hit them with this and this spell, but now you can click on it and make sure.
Oh, okay. First, that's interesting. And that I guess that could work. But Maloran brought up a good point, and I want to answer his chat question. He basically said that means you could monitor current enemy HP. You'll be able to tell if they're taking a camp in the fog of war. If I remember correctly, when I tested it in try mode, you had to have vision on the hero to have their stats panel come up. If you didn't have vision, you couldn't do that. Like it wouldn't work. You couldn't see anything. But not only that, it may also, on top of vision, it may also be within range too. Like just because you have vision on somebody because of your minions, I don't think you can have that info panel come up on that hero at that point. I'm not 100% sure on that one though. But I know for a fact, if you didn't have vision, you couldn't pull up the info panel on the hero.
That's actually how it works in League too. It doesn't matter how far you are in League. Like you can be in like the bottom lane and then you want to check the stats of somebody in the top lane, right? You can click on them, the stats panel will come up. However, as soon as they walk into any brush or cut any vision, the stat panel just disappears because, you know, they cut vision. You can't see them anymore. You can't monitor their health or mana or any of that stuff.
Cool.
So I'm just assuming that's how it's that's how it's going to work in HOTS.
Right, and I know that's I know the vision part is true. I just am not 100% sure on the distance. Because I only tried it in try mode, and so like getting no vision on Arthas is hard enough, let alone like I want to be 3 lanes away from you and see if it works. So okay, cool.
You know, I was just thinking, I know a lot of people bind different keys to different, you know, mouse clicks or buttons, right? So if you bound left mouse click to something else, I wonder if it would actually bring up your panel or not if you clicked on the enemy.
I mean, Schizo's saying he uses left click to AA, so now I'm kind of curious. You're gonna have to test it and let us know, dude. I'd love to know if that. Okay, cool. You know what? For our listeners, Schizophrenic said that no, it does not bring up the stats panel if that's your auto attack key. So, awesome.
Okay, up next we have another quality of life change to the Battlegrounds here. We have Battlegrounds with turn-in mechanics will now show a visual indicator when a team's gathered objective count is high enough to complete a turn-in. So like Blackheart's Bay, and then we have the gems on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we have the plants or seeds, I guess, on the Garden of Terror map, and then the other ones I can't think of at this moment.
Did it do one on Garden of? I haven't seen this in practice yet, so that's why I'm asking. But
I haven't seen it in practice either, but I'm just thinking like, yeah, I guess Garden of Terror maybe not because it's not really a
right.
turn
You don't turn
in, right? It's
that's what I was thinking.
And they already kind of have a indicator on it, don't they?
Yeah, because the it like lights up or something. I don't remember exactly.
I think there's the plant bud that it's like open if you.
What's open if you can get enough.
Yeah, if it's closed if you can't get enough.
Right.
Let's
Let's see. But I'm looking at it right now. Nope, no, it's not listed. So it says it's going to be Blackheart's Bay, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and then Booty Coffer's Hero Brawl will show a visual indicator when you have enough to complete a turn-in. So no more doing the math. It just pops up for you. So cool. Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Something that I forgot to put in the show notes, but I will talk about now, is there's actually a change to Volskaya Foundry's Triglav Protector. They changed it because people were just like, why would we ever get in this thing? And,
right.
Just like completely ignore the objective and push instead. So they're changing it where the Protector will now gain 10 armor and 25% increased damage if both the pilot and gunner seat are occupied.
Ooh.
So now there's a benefit to having two people in it instead of just one person. Hey, this one person's just going to tank the turrets while everybody's doing their thing. People were saying that the gunner seat is actually weaker than a hero, so why occupy it anyway? The base health has been increased from 9,500 to 10,450. So that's quite a bit of an increase. And to be fair, it was kind of squishy for an objective. So
it was really squishy. And there was never a point to having both. Like, pros made it pretty clear that the optimum was to have just a single person in it. So why would you, they had to do something.
Yeah. And not only that, but the health scaling has also been increased by 10%. So it's actually going to be a lot tankier than it was before when this patch hits. And then, so we have the Rocket Fist. The duration of the structured debuff effect has been increased from 2 to 4 seconds. So if I'm not mistaken, the Rocket Fist was when the Protector shot out like a hand, and then whenever it hit a structure, it would disable it for 2 seconds. Now that has been increased from 2 seconds to 4 seconds, I believe, yeah. And then we have the gunner. They changed the Gatling cannon, which is when you press the W button, it would shoot like these laser, and you would hover it around your mouse or aim with your mouse cursor, and then it would just Gatling someone down. So they changed it. Now it'll fire immediately instead of charging up for a second and then firing. And now the Gatling gun rounds will travel 50% faster. So it's much faster, it's much stronger, and fires immediately. So there's a little bit less time for people to move around.
Right.
All right, so yeah, I'm really glad that they made the Protector stronger, because people just ignoring the objective is like, oh, why would we get the objective anyway when we could just push? And then when the enemy team gets the objective, you're like, yeah, we'll just burn it down. It's not exactly like super healthy or whatever. So
right. And that's exactly what was happening. So it definitely something needed to be done.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad it's a bit stronger, but I'm also like kind of wary of it now, because before I just completely ignore it and just be like, it's not that strong. But now it's a lot tankier and it's a bit stronger with the gunner seat in there. So better watch out when it comes rolling down your lane. And that's it for the initial parts. Now we can get into Maiev. All right. Maiev's abilities here. So first we have Vault of the Wardens, which is her trait. She leaps into the air and becomes immune to all hostile effects for 0.75 seconds. And immune is basically, like invincible. So effects as in all damage and all effects. If you get shot by like a cannon or a pyroblast or something, you can actually just run into it with, using your Vault of the Wardens, and you take 0 damage.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the other passive that she has on this trait is she has 15 armor, just baseline. Just like Arthas has 10, she has 15.
Can we just talk about how insanely OP that skill is, or that trait is? Like 6-second cooldown and you jump up. I feel like 6 seconds really, really short, man. Like really short.
I mean, for the amount of tankiness that she has with just 15 armor plus the immunity effect of this, it's like, she's really, really untargetable. Because if you attack her, she's pretty tanky. And if you, don't attack her, she's just going to take you down, right?
Right. Like, what do? You can't. Yeah. All right. Keep going. I just, that trait is crazy good.
All right, so for her Q ability, she has Fan of Knives. She does 100 X amount of damage, 180 damage to enemies in a crescent area, and hitting at least 2 enemies with Fan of Knives will reduce its cooldown to 0.5 seconds and refunds its mana cost. So it's kind of like Kael'thas in that aspect, where anything that, any clumped enemies she can get really good value out of. And I'm sure from people seeing in that spotlight where there was the mosh pit and she was able to just get a ton of damage out.
Yeah. It's crazy. Oh my god. Anyway, keep going.
All right, so for her W, she has Umbral Bind. Maev's next basic attack cleaves and applies a tether to enemy heroes for 2.5 seconds. If a tethered hero moves too far away from Maiev, they are pulled towards her, dealing 110 damage and breaking the tether. So this is one of her anti-mobility abilities, where she has to auto-attack someone, but if they try to leave this like circle around her, then they'll automatically be pulled to Maiev.
Yep.
Now, something to note about this ability is that if they dash out of it, and if you dash in like the other direction, then it won't pull you all the way to Maiev. It'll pull you like the maximum distance. So there's a range on it.
Right.
All right, so her E, Spirit of Vengeance. Maiev sends a shadow outward that will return to its cast location and deal 100 damage to enemies along both paths, dealing 100% more damage to enemy heroes. You can reactivate it to blink to the shadow's location. So this is her movement ability where it sends out the shadow, it goes forward, it goes back, and you can recast it to blink to its location at any moment in time.
Right.
All right, now for her first heroic, Containment Disc. Throw a glaive in the target direction. If an enemy hero is hit, the spell can be reactivated to remove their vision and put them in stasis for 4 seconds. Containment Disc automatically activates for 6 seconds after hitting a hero. And then her second heroic is Warden's Cage. She summons 8 Warden avatars as a cage around Maiev. After 1.5 seconds, enemy heroes that come into contact with an avatar consume it and are knocked to the center of the cage. Warden avatars last 7 seconds. All right, LiQuiud, what do you think?
You know what? I have to agree with Caldor when they showed the video, and he's just like laughing and just saying, "Okay, she's OP." Like, hello. Like there's nothing else to say about it. Her Q is up basically all the time and costs you no mana. Like right? I mean, there's always 2 enemies there. You'll almost, as long as you don't put her in a solo lane, there's always 2 enemies. You can basically just sit there spamming your Q. Her W's really good. Her E's really good. The blink is awesome. I don't know how much I like Containment Disc. I'm sure there's a place for it. I like Warden's Cage a little bit better, but like everything about her is awesome. and yeah, Wonder Raid, her Q is a small crescent, not a cone, but it's like Garrosh's is that his Q or his W? I think it's his Q, the pizza slice.
Yeah, Groundbreaker.
Yeah. It's the same thing, right? Or Zul'jin in his axe throw, right? Same thing. You learn where that sweet spot is and you can pretty much cast it nonstop.
See, I'm kind of worried about her ultimates because they don't do any damage.
Yeah,
most of her damage just comes from everything else.
Right.
All right, so the first thing I have for Maiev here is she's pretty tanky for an assassin. She has 15 armor, and she has the second largest health pool for an assassin with 2,150. Only losing to Varian, who has 2,300 or something.
So much, dude. Like, why?
2,150. That's almost the health pool of ETC here, and she comes with 15 base armor.
I know, it's so wrong. Like everything, like I don't know what to say, man. Everything about this, she's We'll see Tuesday, man. Tuesday, she'll either come out like punching, and everybody should do themselves a favor and know how to play her. She's gonna be banned in like every game unless you first pick her, or they're going to nerf her before she hits live. I'm really not sure which, but one of them will happen.
I certainly think that she has a little bit too much health and armor. I know she's in like a full like plated armor,
Right.
thing, but like, come on, she doesn't need to be that tanky, especially for an assassin.
Nah. I mean, you're right. She has literally almost the amount of health as ETC. Something's wrong there, Blizzard. Something's wrong there.
Okay, so the second thing I have is, does she actually have enough anti-mobility? So
That's
her
a good
anti-mobility things here are Warden's Cage, which is pretty good. Containment Disc, I don't know if I'd call that anti-mobility. It's kind of just like a stun, if you will, almost.
Right.
And then her Umbral Bind, which is, I guess, her main anti-mobility tool.
Hmm.
So Umbral Bind, for one, you can say it's targeted, really, but it's it's melee range. You have to auto attack someone. So if those really mobile heroes don't allow you to auto attack them, then do you actually get that anti-mobility off, right?
Well, and the thing with the other thing with Umbral Bind, right? All it really does, it's not anti-mobility so much as it's you have to chase me around if you want to hurt me, right? Like, you're outside of melee range. You can be outside of melee range in the bind. So if you're tethered, I can get far enough away that I'm still bound to you, but you can't hit me.
Yeah, see, and then another thing is like heroes with multiple mobility tools.
Right.
Like, let's just say Genji, right?
Yep.
Would just use his jump, hit the edge of the bind range, get pulled back, and then swift strike away anyway, right?
Right. Yeah, Genji's a great example of it's not. So it's more like I try to force you to stay near me and less like an anti-mobility, right? And that was where I was going. Now, Warden's Cage, on the other hand, is kind of anti-mobility, but all you have to do is sacrifice. Let's say you get caught in there with a team, sacrifice one person and then run out with the rest.
You don't even need to sacrifice one person. So something about Warden's Cage that I don't like is that it's after 1.5 seconds. So 1.5 seconds you can see coming a mile away. They don't activate until after 1.5 seconds. So you see the ring coming up, you use your mobility, you're out of there.
Right.
And it's like, all right, you got the cage up. What does that actually trap? It actually traps the not mobility heroes, like Schizo was saying in the chat.
Right.
So heroes that are maybe like the tanks with no mobility, they can't really, or
no, those tanks are getting out. If you think about Tyrael's getting out, ETC sliding out, man, why did I just go blank? Meridian's jumping out. Like, no, you're getting out of that. The people that get caught in there are like the Sergeant Hammers.
Yeah. So it's like it stops them once, but it doesn't stop them for a while.
Right.
Like, if Warden's Cage actually made it so that they couldn't get out for, let's reduce their duration from 7 to like 5 or 4 or something. I'd say that's a worthy of an 80-second cooldown ultimate. If it's like you cannot leave this ring for like 5 seconds, that would be really, really good. That would be true anti-mobility there. But for an ultimate that's just like, all right, I'm gonna bump into this like like bumper thing, and then I'll use my mobility and get out, and then just walk away. It's like, okay, well, it's not so great.
Well, I think that's why you'll see people taking containment disc, and that's single target, but you're not leaving, so you're stuck. Like, you're legitimately stuck at that point.
I really, really like containment disc because when you hit the hero, it gives you 6 seconds that you can activate it whenever.
Right.
So, which means that if you throw it on Genji, right, and then it's like, he has 6 seconds where he can go in if he wants, but if he Dragon Blades and goes in, you can just activate it.
Right.
And stall him for another 4 seconds there. Or, if he stays out, then he's out for 6 seconds, plus the 4 seconds, because it activates after the 6 seconds.
At the end of the 6, right. Yeah, no, I like Containment Disc. I think it's also good for we're going to get a pick. You know, grab somebody that overextends a little, just immediately Containment Disc and hit them with the stasis. And then either you have a 5v4 fight, or as soon as they come out, you start hitting with your actual skills. So, like, you slide, or you bed of barbs, or like whatever the case may be, depending on who you're playing, to keep that hero locked down even longer. So.
All right. And then lastly, I have for her is, what role should she play? Like,
she's a bruiser, man. But
is she a bruiser?
She's like okay. Well, I say that she's like a bruiser that doesn't solo lane, right? So I guess I wouldn't really call her a bruiser, but she is a bruiser, right? Like, I wouldn't send her to solo, but if if you think about like a bruiser's role during team fights, like, that's who she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. Like, she kind of needs to get in there close, because she
Right.
wants to use Umbral Bind. I mean, Spirit of Vengeance is pretty good mobility.
Mhm.
She's like a bruiser with like a kind of a skittish assassin kit.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like, she has the health to go in there, but she doesn't have to.
right. I mean, it's almost like Illidan and Johanna had a baby, and Maiev was that baby, right? Like, if you think about it, she's almost as tanky as a tank, or maybe more like Illidan Sonya used to be, right? Like before Sonya got nerfed, like pre-nerf Sonya, she's got a lot of AoE, she's got a lot of survivability, and she will cause problems for the other team. Potentially.
So you heard it here, folks. Don't take her into the solo lane. She's probably just going to be part of your rotations, or your group there, and she doesn't exactly have that much CC unless she gets to melee range.
Right. Well, don't get me wrong. Potentially she could solo lane, but she's way more effective when she's attacking more than one hero, right? So if there's 2 or 3 enemy heroes she's attacking, you'll get more value out of her than you will if it's like a one-on-one situation. Like, Maiev Dahaka is probably not where you want to see it, right? That's just not gonna work, right? Like, how are you gonna win that fight? You're not. So,
you know, like, she should just throw these knives that'll just hit Dahaka like for very little damage, and then
Right.
she's just gonna be like, I'm gonna heal it up real quick.
and Dahaka, realistically, Dahaka would ignore her most of the time anyway, because she's not clearing the wave fast. So,
Yeah. She doesn't exactly have a lot of wave.
right, and that's my point. You can't put her in the solo lane. You could, but you shouldn't. But, you know, people do weird stuff sometimes. At all levels of this game, people do weird stuff that doesn't make sense.
I will commend Blizzard, though, as far as capturing the spirit of Maiev. I think they did a good job. The Fan of Knives, Umbral Bind, Spirit of Vengeance, Containment Disc, Warden's Cage, all of that is like very, very thematic. As far as this hero is the anti-mobility hero, not so great.
Well, because the reality is it's anti-run away from me so I can kill you hero, right? Like, it's not Genji can't run away, Murden can't get away. It's, if I can hold you long enough, I'll probably kill you, but I won't necessarily be able to kill or hold you because, you know, Genji's a great example. Genji has enough mobility that he's getting away. Unless you're going to blow all your cooldowns. Like, I guess if you blew all your cooldowns, you might keep him. Right? Like, get him to flip to burn your trait, or not your trait. Get him to flip away to burn your Umbral Bind, and then hit Warden's Cage on him, or hit Containment Disc on him, and, you know, he's not getting away. So,
yeah, and I think, I mean, who knows? Maybe she'll be really, really, really good in a way that we don't expect.
Right.
And when she comes out, we'll see. We'll go more into her next week and like deeper into her talents, but right now it's just like a first impression. So.
Yep. Yep. And next week we will definitely dig in deeper.
All right, so moving along here, the other heroes that have changes for the PTR, we have Greymane with his Gilnean Cocktail. They're reducing the mana cost on it, just baseline, and they're increasing the explosion area by approximately 15%. So this is just like, hey, we're making it so you don't have to choose all those Q talents to actually have Gilnean Cocktail be a skill.
Right.
So, here you go. Level 1, they're changing Perfect Aim. The mana refund for hitting a hero is reduced from 50 to 35. So this is because they already reduced the mana cost, and they're saying, here, so we're taking a little bit away, but you already got a little bit. Level 4, Draw Overflow is now removed. I believe that is the increased explosion area talent. So they already increased the explosion area, and they're like, all right, well, we're just taking this away. Level 7 here, this is the big one.
Right.
Wizened Duelist. It no longer functions as a like Zeratul Grim Task. Wait, he doesn't have that anymore. Tracer Untouchable. Yeah, there we go. Where originally it was, if you get a kill, you get a stack, and you can stack up to 10 times. It increases your auto attack damage by 3% up to 10 times, so you get 30% additional auto attack damage. Now, it's every 6 basic attacks against an enemy hero increases Greymane's basic attack damage by 1%, up to 30%. Gain triple the benefit if you're attacking in Worgen form. Half of these bonuses are lost on death. This right here, that's pretty insane here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every 6 basic attacks on an enemy hero, which is, quite a long time. However, if you're like attacking a tank for quite a long time, that's going to be pretty insane. So this makes it so that he can actually stack his auto attack damage a lot quicker. Well, unless you're just sitting there getting kills, a lot safer, I guess to say.
Right.
And what gets me here is that half of these bonuses are lost on death. Only half, not 100% of it. Like almost every single.
It has to be that way, right? Like if you do 100%. Oh, continue. Sorry.
I was gonna say like the other heroes that have it, like Tracer right now. Can't think of any of the other heroes that have them, but these talents are usually you lose it all on death. But Greymane's has the bonus of it's only half lost upon death. So I think that's really strong right there, and I think that that might be the go-to talent now because they made Gilnean Cocktail like a better skill like on its own without talent, so you don't have to choose like all the Gilnean Cocktail talents now, and you can just take the Wizened Duelist plus the auto attack build. So it's not like auto attack build was weak either.
Right. No, they're interesting changes. We'll see. I don't know how much it's going to actually change his talent diversity, but only time will tell.
Yeah. Okay, moving along here, we have Malthael changes. So this is the other like mini like rework change thing here.
Yep.
So we have his basic attacks now cleave in a radius of 3.25 in an arc in front of Malthael, and damage is reduced from 117 to 82. So this means that you can now auto attack like in front of you and hit multiple targets with your Reaper's Mark. They decrease the damage for it, but
this is crazy, dude. Like what? Why?
Yeah, this is pretty freaking crazy. If you have multiple targets in front of you, or if you have like a person near the enemy minions, you can now auto attack the minion and you get your Reaper's Mark on everybody, or you can attack a hero, you get the Reaper's Mark on the minions too that they're near. So you don't have to just auto attack one one thing now. You could auto attack multiple, which is really insane. So this actually changes him quite a bit. Next up, we have the Soul Reap. The healing is reduced from 44 to 36 per enemy hit. Yep. I'm assuming they did this because, his auto attack hits multiple people now. Death Shroud. The width is increased from 2.25 to 3. It is now a lot fatter, and it will hit more targets. Now, the Reaper's Mark trait. They reduce the damage from 2% to 1.75% of an enemy's maximum health. So this is probably to counterbalance the, hey, you can hit like everything with your auto attacks now, so we're going to reduce the damage a little bit here.
Right.
Tormented Souls no longer applies armor to Malthael. It was his strongest, I'd say strongest, ultimate because it gave him like a lot of power in team fights, and they're making him a little bit less tankier because of it. Last Rites. Oh man, these buffs. Cooldown reduced from 75 to 65 seconds. Malthael can now also gain quest credit if the enemy hero dies within 1.5 seconds of Last Rites damage. The range is also increased from 4 to 5. So just these, base changes alone, without messing around with his talents very much, seem pretty good. Yeah, well.
Come on, man. If you put him, like, think about this. If you put him and Maiev together, like, the whole idea behind her is to keep them in a tight group where Malthael can now Reaper's Mark everybody.
Okay, well, I agree that he's a lot better in, like, applying his marks to everything, but, like, the reduced damage for Reaper's Mark, I mean, I know they had to do it, but still.
Yeah.
Okay, so level 4 here, we have the Die Alone change. Now applies bonus damage as long as only one hero is marked, even if multiple other non-heroes are marked. So for those of you that didn't know, Die Alone used to work like this. It would only apply bonus damage to an enemy hero if it was the only thing marked. If you use like your shade or your Death Shroud on the wave and it hit minions and the hero and you press the Q button, it would not apply bonus damage because the minions are also marked. But now that no longer applies. You can have the entire minion wave marked and the enemy hero, and it will do bonus damage to the enemy hero. So that's pretty insane, actually. It means you can heal off of the minion wave and hit the enemy hero really hard with this talent.
Right.
Okay, next one we have Throwing Shade, which is it augments his E. It reduces the hits needed to complete the quest from 20 to 15. Now, this is like kind of like Blizzard's like double dipping here because they already increased the width of Death Shroud from 2.25 to 3, so it's not a lot fatter, and they reduced the hits needed to complete the quest from 20 to 15. So I think that really buffs this quest and puts it in contention for like the other talents here.
Right.
Black Harvest quest. This is if you completed it, you increase the duration of your Reaper's Mark by 2 seconds. The quest completion requirement has now been increased from 150 to 180. That's quite a bit added right there. I think they put this in because with the AoE cleave of Malthael's auto attacks, it was now maybe too easy to complete. So they're dialing it up. Like, you gotta take longer to complete it. So
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Then at level 7, they moved Massacre from level 16 to there. Massacre is, if you use your W on Malthael, it's you teleport to them. But now, since they moved it down here, you can teleport to them like and do the AoE cleave that Massacre provides at level 7 instead of level 16.
Right.
Touch of Death, the cooldown was reduced from 30 to 25, which was already a pretty strong talent. Now they made it a little stronger. It's the healing reduction talent. At level 13, they changed Soul Siphon. They reduced the healing from 4% to 3.75% versus heroes. I'm guessing they did this because, AoE cleave, auto attack, whatnot, they reduced the healing.
Right.
Ethereal Existence, they reduced the maximum physical armor from 40 to 30. So, yet again, like, you can AoE cleave auto attacks, gotta reduce the everything, basically.
Right.
16, Mortality, they moved this from the level 7 to 16 here, and they increased the damage from 4% to 6% of an enemy's maximum health per hit on your W.
Right.
Now, this actually, 4% is an okay burst amount. I think 6% is a lot better.
Yeah.
And this, I might actually consider taking this if I need to burst someone down, and it's also really good versus tanks. So I think that was a pretty good change here. So what do you think about Malthael now?
I mean, he was already really strong, so we just made him stronger? Like, okay. Sure. I don't know. I struggle when I see things like this because my poor cow has been nerfed into oblivion and is not the best tank, even though apparently he's getting played by everybody. And I feel like we already had a really strong Malthael, and we've made him stronger. He wasn't the best, but he was definitely pick and ban worthy in professional play, and now you're increasing his strength. So I come back to, I think this is strictly a reaction and a belief that in order to make him synergize well with Maiev, that's what they need to do.
So do you think with these changes, how I see it is he's a better laner now? Yes. But he's a little bit worse in team fights because they nerfed the damage on the Reaper's Mark trait and the Tormented Souls. What do you think about that?
I agree he's a better laner. I don't think they nerfed him enough to make him weak in the team fight. So the 2% to 1.75% needed to be done because you're going to be AoE applying that now, right? So you had to lower that percentage in order for it not to be like crazy strong, right? That's true. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I do think Tormented Souls got nerfed a bit, but I think that was to make Last Rites even more attractive. Because Last Rites is like, nobody takes Last Rites. It's like never taken. So, yeah, we'll see. Well, I definitely think he's stronger.
Okay.
So.
All right, now moving to our last hero that got changed, Tyrael. Yep. So Tyrael, level 1, his Salvation talent, the healing on shield destruction has been increased from 125 to 140. Now this is the talent that you didn't really take because Justice for All, which is the AoE shielding, 100% to everybody, was the one that people usually took. And then we have here the other one, Ardent Restoration. Healing is increased from 12.5 to 13.75 per stack over 5 seconds. So these are the two talents that you didn't take over Justice for All, or people didn't take. What do you think about this talent tier now that these have been buffed, LiQuiud?
So I actually think these needed to be buffed. I'm happy to see them. I like both of those. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. It'll probably be healing, Salvation, because I really enjoy that talent for the most part. But it needed to be buffed. And this is just a, hey, we reworked Tyrael, and now we need to fix a couple things.
Okay. And then level 4, Stalwart Armor. Armor is reduced from 25 to 20. So apparently this armor talent was too strong, and they're just like, all right, let's tone it back a little bit. Do you think the armor talent here needed to be nerfed here?
No, I think it was okay, but I understand why they did it.
Do you usually take Stalwart Armor? Do you take like Bound by Law or the other talent here?
I'm trying to remember. I think that's actually the one I used to take, but hold on. I'm going to make sure. Let's see. Where is? Oh, sorry, I'm just pulling up Heroes Hearth because their website is wonderful if you want to look at talents. And we were talking about, yeah, Stalwart Angel is what I used to go with. In fact, that was my go-to. The Bound by Law was okay, and I took that like once or twice, but mostly it was Stalwart Angel. So it makes sense why they're lowering that. I mean, you were like 20 versus 25 is a big deal. So I get it. It makes sense. I'm good with that change. I wish they left it, but I'm good with that change. And I'll still be picking it even at 20 armor.
Even at 20 armor.
Even at 20, yeah.
I'm more along the lines of I like Bound by Law because it's just really good for CC, and in case my squishies need that peeling, I can just put my sword down and then just auto attack whoever's diving them to give them that really, really long slow amount.
I mean, I guess I kind of see that, but I don't know. I still think it's better the other way. But I don't know. We'll have to see how it is after. I haven't had a chance to play much with Tyrael on PTR. So we'll see. More testing to be determined.
more testing. All right, as our resident esports person here, do you think these putting Maiev into the game, these changes with Malthael, these changes with Tyrael, do you think they're going to affect the competitive scene that much, or these changes to Greymane too?
Yes. Well, I mean,
what do you think is going to change?
Greymane's already picked all the time. I think Maiev is going to be pick ban worthy. I think Malthael is going to be a little more picked than he is now. Not that he's not picked a whole lot now, but he's more niche right now. Tyrael, though, is the one that stands out for me. I'm excited about, I think it's next weekend that they're playing on the Blaze Balance patch, not this weekend. So I'm excited. That's the one where the Tyrael rework is already there. I can't wait for that. I'm super excited to see that one happen. So
I think everybody's going to be picking Tyrael. He's going to be in every game.
Tyrael will be back to his what do you call it?
Former glory.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Do you think people will ban him over Genji and Hanzo, or they're just gonna be like, no, Genji, Hanzo, get out of here. We're just gonna pick up the Tyrael.
Right. I think it. Well, I think it could be both. Could be both.
Okay. All right. Well, that is it for the PTR patch notes. Do you want to do the outro here, LiQuiuD?
I will. Okay. Sorry. I'm juggling too much, man. It's not good. All right. Yes, because you have nothing else you want to do. So cool. Mystic Shakedown next week, possibly.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you all for listening to the Nexus Trolls, a Heroes of the Storm podcast, which we stream live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG, every week on Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. You can find me on Twitter at LiQuiuDGG. That's LiQiuDGG. I tweet whenever I'm about to do anything interesting. We will be going live in about an hour with LFM's coach, Hero Physio, and doing Troll and HGC. Stick around for that. I mean, take an hour break if you want, but definitely come back 9:30. We'll be going live with that. And yeah, that's pretty much that. And I got to give a shout out. My boys over in ODI, the team that I manage in Open Division, finished 3rd this week. They absolutely crushed it and looked great, and they're out scrimming right now. So keep scrimming, boys. But they did awesome, and I'm super proud of them. And
shameless plug.
Shameless plug. And actually, another shout out. Heroes Hearth took over. Heroes Hype. You know what? There's too many Heroes H's, and I always say the other one when I'm thinking about the other one. It drives me crazy. Heroes Hype took over Open Division this year from Gosu Gamers, and EU and NA Cups both just happened Monday, Tuesday, and they were well executed. And props to them. I see, because I work on their website, I see all this staff chat going on, and there is a lot of communication between the team members to make sure everything's smooth. And they did a wonderful job this weekend. So definitely, or this week. So definitely check out Open Division if you're not right now, because there's some great games going on there, and it looks great. NA is Jake and Kala, and EU is Grubby and Tetcher. So definitely check it out. All right, Mystic, where can people find you?
You can find me at Mystic Shroud on Twitter.
And he does tweet every once in a while. I can confirm this.
Trying to get up there.
Awesome. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters, including our newest one, San. If you like the show and you're looking for a way to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/trollsgg. Subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you happen to find your podcasts online. You can visit our website, trolls.gg/TheNexusTrolls, to watch this and past shows along with past video streams, which can also be found on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TrollsGG. For announcements about the show and general Heroes of the Storm news, please follow us on Twitter at TheNexusTrolls. And if you want to hang out with us in the Trolls community in-game, join TrollsGG in-game or join our Discord channel, trolls.gg/Discord. Finally, if you need to get in touch with us, the very best way is email. That is TheNexusTrolls@trolls.gg. Mystic, thank you very much for hanging out with me. And hopefully Daz is having a great time at Disney World. We will see you guys all next week.